Hi, this is Carlos Cousins. The following is an ACT reading question that is asking us um, to figure out which of the following examples here provided in Roman numerals 1, 2, 3, and 4 are found in a passage. These are called hide and seek questions and are some of the more difficult types of questions, though because of the way that this passage is organized, it's actually not that difficult to figure out what specifically this is referring to. And I'm sorry about only considering part of the passage here for this exercise, but as you'll see, the much of the important information is to be found here in this last bit of the last paragraph. So the question here is, which of the following does the author believe? People can produce great results by selection. Well, it turns out here that when the author of this passage coins, or I guess uses a term, natural selection, right, uses it to differentiate or to mark its relation to man's power of selection, that man has the ability, right, to produce great results. We know because man has a lot of power in his selection. So number one has to be considered one of the answer choices, which is what we see here in virtually every single potential answer choice. But the expression often used by Mr. Herbert Spencer of the survival of the fittest is more accurate and is sometimes equally convenient. We've seen that man by selection can certainly produce great results. Again, this is the exact same thing as number one, and can adapt organic beings to his own uses. So people can adapt organic beings to their own uses is number two. So 1 and 2 have to be included in the answer choice. It can't just be 1 alone. And then it continues through the accumulation of slight but useful variations. So nature provides people with these variations, and we know these come from nature. In that earlier in the passage, it says, it has been seen in the last chapter that among organic beings in a state of nature, there is some individual variability. That beings in a state of nature, so nature provides us with this variability. And then, of course, we've got natural selection can be controlled by human beings. That is not necessarily the case. Human beings have a lot of power over the adaptation of individuals, but we cannot change natural selection. We cannot stop natural selection from occurring. And we see that in that, but natural selection, we shall hereafter see, is a power incessantly ready for action. It's always occurring. We can't stop it, and is immeasurably superior to man's feeble efforts, as the works of nature are to those of art. So humans don't have the power to change or control natural selection. So we can cross out anything that includes that doesn't include number 3 or that includes number 4, so that we end up with C as the correct answer. I hope that helped you with this passage, and happy prepping.